in the United States for a long time, and we know we are facing a lot of challenges, especially with raising our kids here. And he has a lot of expertise, and he can share some of those experiences. He's gone to school here, and I want him to tell us about how he does it.
Okay, thank you very much. I can say it's good to be a father. Um, and yeah, I have raised up 5 kids. They are all grown. The youngest is 25 years old. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, wow.
Mm.
So, yeah, I mean, give us some more insight. So, how old were your kids when they came here? And yeah, well, let's start there.
Well, at times, it's it's kind of rare that when they came, they were of different ages. I had an 18-year-old
Mm-hmm.
who was already finished high school,
Mm-hmm.
and then I had a 17-year-old, I had a 15-year-old,
Mm-hmm.
and no, 16, and then I had a 14-year-old
Mm-hmm.
and a 12-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
So all of them were they were in different classes when they came here,
Mm-hmm.
and the challenge I found is when in Kenya,
Yes.
all of the discipline, much of the 80% of the discipline,
Mm-hmm.
we have left to our teachers. In
Okay.
schools,
Mm-hmm.
we expected the teachers to teach them and then to discipline them.
Mm-hmm.
But when it came here,
Mm-hmm.
the shock was I started getting like the young boys who were in school. I started getting some notification from school. Oh, your child was late to class. Your child was this. I say, what? Why? So it's like one time I go ask a teacher,
Yeah.
why can't you discipline the kid? He says, no,
Mm-hmm.
we don't do that here. So it's like here, the teachers, discipline is out of the teachers. And so all of this dirtiness in school and other things, I would talk to the kids so that they can understand.
Mm-hmm.
That is what I got very challenging. That now
Mm-hmm.
all of the discipline is left on the parents.
Okay.
That was very new to me. And then there are rules here that like in Kenya you have to whoop your kids, but here you cannot do that. So those are some of the things which was very challenging to adjust in parenting in Kenya and here. But I tell you what, it is not even the two countries which is a challenge. These kids are digital, they are in a digital age. Parenting has changed the whole world over.
Okay.
Because of YouTube, Facebook, social media, and these other things, that is what I found very striking. Now, my kids came here. In Kenya, they were not on Facebook. Now here they have phones, they are on Facebook. And I was in Facebook. I would see them post some fun things. And I thought to be a good parent, I needed to be a police in Facebook. And I would tell them, what is that you posted? You know what all my kids did? They blocked me off.
They blocked you off.
Now I find it was a new challenge. They had the power. You cannot take it out from them. So they said, that is trying to police us in Facebook. They blocked me. So I lost it.
So you lost it.
Yeah.
So I love that perspective because in Kenya, it's all about discipline and they can't even talk back to their teachers. And then they come here And you're thinking, oh my gosh, you know what? Facebook took over, and then the teachers are telling you, hey, you know, do your role from home, and they will send you messages like,
Yeah.
So,
I would get an email that he missed assignment, he came to class late, things like that.
so here, with discipline, because you talked about that too, because sometimes in Kenya, or you know, the kids in Kenya would say, here, if I miss an assignment, I know I'm gonna be whooped, or you know,
Yeah.
somebody's
Caned.
gonna, caned, yes. So so how did you handle that? Because then you kind of lose the power, because you're thinking, oh my gosh, you know what if I cane them, or what if I do something and then they go to school and I get in trouble? And we've seen a lot of that with parents.
Yeah. Actually, many parents who are immigrants, they have been in trouble about that.
Okay.
So the only difference, you know, like when we come here as immigrants, we are in different categories. We are not the same immigrants, and that's why sometimes it's very hard. Like we are immigrants. Like for my example, I came here before my family came.
Okay.
So I had already adapted to some parts of American culture. I knew that caning a child is wrong. You know, there are things I'd already known. But there are parents who move, like those who immigrate, the whole family take up the plane the same time, they land into America, they start that life. Such a father who did not have room to adjust to the American culture, as kids go to school, you know, kids change very fast. They go to school, they have changed. When they see that, he thinks he's in Kenya, he will start caning the kids, and then he will end up in trouble. So that is the difference. Like I was here before.
Like you were here before. So, you know, so what I hear you saying is, you know, experience and just having, how long were you here before your family joined you? At least you're able to learn the culture.
Yeah, I was here for 12 years.
Before the kids?
Before they came.
Okay. Okay, so the disconnect with the parenting. I mean, you just also talked about, like, you know, parents who bring or who come here with the whole family, and of course there's culture shock, and you know, they start caning the kids, and of course they get in trouble. So I mean, do you feel like we need classes for parents immigrating here on how to deal with the parenting system here and the school system here?
Yeah, you have raised a very good point. You know, what happens that we become when such a parents when such a families move, we call them like cultural astronauts.
Okay.
I call them cultural astronauts. You know, just imagine like an astronaut leaves Earth, goes to space, goes to the moon. You know, you have to. That's why you see them dressed in a different way, because the gravity is the same.
It's the same.
So it's the same way like we put them on a rocket, and they're in a different country. When they reach here, they land. If they have moved from Mars, the atmospheric pressure in Mars is different than the one in Earth. So you could expect maybe Mars, they don't use oxygen. You know, these cultures, when people just come like that, they need to have a transition. They need to be debriefed. Like military is coming from war, when they have fought and seen that, they need to be debriefed. So if we can have some cultural debriefing classes where they are taught these things by the people they know, they would be able to know that in this America where you are, rules are like this. You don't cane your kids, you do this. So at least they get a transformation. That I would really recommend something like that in the community.
Okay. So here, you know, the challenges that we are facing especially is with kids who are immigrating here when they're teenagers. And it's because of the peer pressure, and they're developing very fast.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, for a teenager, they're exposed to Facebook. They have a phone. And of course, they're listening to whoever is on the phone and their peer friends.
Yeah.
So please tell me, what is your advice to parents who have kids immigrating during teenagehood?
Let me tell you, kids will always remain kids. And you don't expect the kids to change. It is us parents who need to change to be like them.
Okay.
Because, take for example, like all of these gadgets. My background is in computer. In computer. Not that I'm illiterate in computer. I'm an expert in computer. But do you know there are so many things I don't even want to do. I give them to my kids to do for me. Because they are quick. That one. They will just do it very quick. Within a second, they have done. We as parents, we are the people who need to change. Number one, we need to adapt a different way of instilling discipline to our children.
Okay.
But first of all, we need to be democratic.
Okay. What do you mean by democratic?
By democratic is that we need to listen to our kids, because normally we understand the culture where we come from is that a kid cannot even talk back to a parent. You cannot bring those cultures here. America is a democratic country. Everybody has a right, even a kid has a right. First of all, you have to be democratic.
Yes.
That's number one. You have to listen to your kids, and you don't need to impose many things your kids. If you really want to join them, if you want to win them, you have to join them. You can't beat them. When you beat them, then you would agree on the things, on the terms. Because these kids are with you for a short time. They have their own journey where they are going.
Right.
They will go where you will not go.
Right. So
me, I want to encourage is that we need to sit with the kids. Sometimes they will get their way. I saw some document which says, like, as parents of our age, we are a limited edition. We are the people who listen to our parents. And now listening to our children.
Okay.
Well, the age you can guess.
I know. You know what? So here, because I think people need to grasp that, because we're struggling. People are struggling. Yeah. But you know what? Here, let me not take you out of your train of thought.
That's true. Because we are the people. If we want to live. One thing our parents we are trying to do parenting, like driving while looking at a rear mirror.
Okay.
That's one of the mistakes we have. Is that when we grow up, our fathers taught us this. They punish us, and you want the way you obeyed your father. You want your son to obey you like that. No, this is a new era where they want you to be democratic. They don't just want to take your orders. No, even if some parents, they may boast that their kids are taking their orders. Let me tell you, they are only waiting for the day they will leave home. They will do opposite of what their fathers were telling them. So it's good to be democratic.
That's good to be democratic.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, we are seeing a lot of issues. For example, we get calls, and we know that really, there is no way we are going to win. I mean, if it's abuse, maybe that a child has been whooped and they report that at school. Even with the best parenting skills, we're still seeing that. How do we defend somebody like that? Do we have lawyers out there who can say, you know what, this is how we grew up in Kenya, and What's
Yeah.
your take?
No, even if you go to the lawyer, a lawyer would only defend you within the statutes of law. And they are not going to bring a statute of law in a Kenyan law, in a US court. No, they will use the US law, the code of conduct in the US law. So the thing is, as you talked earlier, parents need to be told that once you land here, you are subject to the laws of this land. Yeah.
So, on that note, we know that our kids are going to be smart. Kids will go out there. I mean, they're influenced by their peers. So, what are we doing, even as a community? What are we doing to ensure that, okay, now that we don't have a system, of saying, here, maybe you went to Afghanistan, or maybe you are in the war now, when you're coming back home, we need to talk to you about the civilian life. So, I mean, do you think, we are able to actually institute that?
We can do it in, something can start in a small scale. First of all, if somebody, because we are a very culturally social people, number one, it has to start where the person lands, who mentors the person is where you land. Like if a relative comes, because definitely when somebody is coming, he will have to settle with someone somewhere before he can start his life. The number one teacher is the host, who needs to give these basic orientation things. Second, and that's what we urge our community organizations, like they need to have some centers, like a community center or somewhere where such people should come and get support, because even if somebody hosts them, it's not that they will provide for anything. Because sometimes people come during winter. In Kenya, people don't have winter clothes. How about if they could have like a center where they can be able to help, where people can donate even clothes. When people come, they are given clothes. They can even be supported with food. And then when they are coming for food, they get, there is this orientation class we would like you to attend, and then maybe we would see how to help you even to get a job or other things, some stuff. I think if we do that, when people know that you care, and you don't just come and lecture somebody. Like, I know there are many people, they throw out the cars, like, this car has got to know. Like, if we have an organization like that, which would be where people can donate such cars, which are not, and then we can have even community mechanics to come and look at them, they can fix them. They will be there, like when somebody comes, is struggling with life, he can even get that old car to start a life. Don't you think somebody would, if you tell that person now about orientation to America, will listen to you?
And they would, because I wish, we would actually foster these ideas, because I think we negate that and we don't talk about the culture shock, because at the end of the day, if they're being educated by people out there, even about personal hygiene, even, like when people go to Walmart, for example, right? I mean, how do we even tell them, okay, by the way, this is male's clothing and this is female's clothing? Because I have seen people, you know what?
Okay. Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
There is somebody you might get, he has gotten a clothes, but it's a woman's clothes as well.
I know.
They don't know.
Yeah.
And like when a person comes from Kenya, this is all, like when he comes new, the first things I take care, which I find different, in Kenya. I don't want it to be judgmental, but always I teach them small things.
Yes.
I take them to the store and I show them a deodorant.
Okay.
Which I found is not very prevalent. People don't use it in Kenya. I don't know whether it is the weather, but they don't, it's not something mandatory.
Mm-hmm.
You can imagine if somebody goes without a deodorant here.
Ah, yeah.
It would be stinking
Yes.
in people and it would be embarrassing. But this person may not know that he's stinking.
Right. Right.
He say, I took a shower, so I'm okay.
I'm okay.
But that is the basic thing I told. Never leave the house before you put this on. I try to insist that because people will run away where you are working or when it's a small thing, but it's very important. Because Americans care about the hygiene.
Yes.
They will not talk, but they will want to avoid you, which is not good.
And you know what? I mean, body odors. I mean, those are strong.
Yeah.
Especially, in enclosed space.
Uh-huh.
And, people want to be very kind, And in Minnesota, they call it the
Minnesota nice.
Uh-huh. So you don't want to be saying anything. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
welcome to
Yeah.
America.
So somebody will hug you, but say,
That is, yeah, and I've seen it. But you know what? So what can you encourage like some of the hosts to do? Because what I see is sometimes, if people have had bad hosts, and, here, I mean, there's people who have had bad experiences. There's exploitation, where the host will decide to even take person's passport and they take their green card and they say, you know what, here. So I'm the one who kind of helped you here and I have hosted you for this long. So please go do your due diligence and pay me this money. I mean, is there any help for people like that?
No, you have already given, in every society there are bad apples. But actually, I can tell you in the community, people are so nice. You see the sacrifice they do to a new immigrant coming up, a majority of them, they really do a lot and we really need to appreciate it. I mean, let us commend them. But there are always narcissists in the community. They might be one or two. It's not like he's everybody. Yeah, I have had an incident where a girl came from Kenya and it was hosted by family. Because they had small kids and now they got a babysitter. The husband and wife were doing doubles. And the lady was at home. They have given the food is there, is taking care of the kids. It took time, even when the green card came, they got it in the mail. They kept it. Said, we are still waiting for you can't do a job because your green card has not come. And then they did not take her to go and apply for Social Security. He said for 6 months, and he had come from a poor family where they expected money back home. It was an incident, but when he went to church and was talking to somebody, at least he got another lady who came and took she applied for the green card, the Social Security, and then he called Social Security why the green card came, and it was so the green card was sent this and this long time ago.
Wow.
So when he's asking, it just came last week.
Wow.
So you can understand things like that. It's only a few people, but the majority of people, the hosts are very nice. They take care of them. It's very strenuous, like when especially you come with a family. But then they have the responsibilities that the hosts, I know they might be busy, but it is always good, like you have a checklist. Like tell them this, the don'ts and do's. Like don't drive a car without insurance here in this country. I know some countries they don't take it serious. If those first words you tell a person, will never forget. And if he's in trouble, he will know he was told.
Yeah.
Not that he wasn't told.
He wasn't told. Yeah. Wow. So back to parents who are struggling out there, whether maybe they came here with their, teenagers, and now the teenagers are telling them, hey, you know what, here, the game is different. And I know, parents are like, immigrating here with their kids like all the time. Would you advise them to take them back to Kenya? Because this is what I've seen a lot of parents do. When the parenting becomes a problem, when the kids stray a little, then you know what? They're like, I'm going to take you back to Kenya.
Well, that one is postponing a problem.
Okay.
Taking them back to Kenya might be a small remedy. But the thing is, if the monies are still in the house, and let me tell you, many people think Africa is not changing. Even parenting in Africa has changed a lot. Even, I mean, I used to read on magazines. There are some magazines, I think they were missionary magazines, called Science. I used to get them and read them. People used to send those out from America, where they were talking about drugs in inner city, that the kids are taking drugs. At time I would understand. Why would it be a problem taking drugs? Like we did not have an issue of teens that time. In our time, we could hear a pocket of people who were smoking opium, but it was like a social thing. It wasn't a menace. But these days, all of those drugs, cocaine, and the rest are in those countries. Indiscipline cases are everywhere. Yeah, you may want to take them back so that they can be disciplined, but I think you should also understand sometimes emotionally you will be affecting this child when the child moves from here, moves to Kenya. Sometimes the change, like when he is used to the education system here and you take to the education system. This, even if we don't have enough research, but I would think that this is something which might affect the kid in the long run.
Okay.
Let us not look at winning the battle and then we lose the war.
Okay.
For me, I would not encourage. It's only that you face indiscipline alone. Let me tell you, I have to give a practical example. One day I went to the teacher conference, and I find my kids were now, they were in high school. From middle school they were doing okay. In high school now, I got that they are getting C's. Then I ask, what's going on? It's like, that typical African parent. Then my son told me, no, even that one I tried. then I switched to vernacular, and I was like,
what did you say?
I don't want to say what I said. And then the teacher was like, what were you saying? What? Then he was asking, are you in trouble? I said, no, we are just talking. I realized he was saying. Then he was asking, was your father threatening you? I can call you a social worker. I said, no. Yeah. And then I said, what can I do? I knew I cannot go beat this boy is now getting C's or what I will do. So I came home, I slept over it. So what I did, I couldn't get a solution how I'm going to deal with it. Even I also contemplated of taking them back to go to school in Kenya.
Yeah.
It was on the table.
It was on the table, okay.
But early in the morning when I woke up, I was going out and then something came to me. You know what? These kids come from school. What minute did they reach? They are on their PlayStation. They are on their TV program. So I think they have been missing this assignment because they are on this. I say, I think I have power here. what I did, I took away the PlayStation because I bought it with my money.
Okay.
I took the cable. I took the cable away. I put them on the boot of my car and went to work, and I felt relieved. And I made sure I've come from work before they come from school. I see how they are behaving. So they came, they didn't get the PlayStation. I told them, I took the PlayStation and the cable away because those I bought my money because I went to school. You work hard to buy it for yourself. That changed them because now they didn't have anything to do. Now in the evening, what were they doing? They were sitting down to do assignment. They became serious. The next teacher conference, the boys were telling me, don't miss, come to the teacher conference. Now they are okay. I went there, I found straight A's. All of them were getting A's now. Then they said, can we have it back? I need to wait another time and see how you guys are doing. So we came and the compromise. I released it to them, but on the weekends and on specific time. Weekdays, no. So you see that democracy I was telling you about. Yeah.
So I love, I love this discussion because at the end of the day, a lot of parents are resorting to, I'm going to take them back. Or, the kids get to a certain point and they're like, oh, you know what? If you're not treating me right, I could find foster parents out there and I don't have to deal with you. So, I mean, I love having this discussion. So, one thing that I really want to address, and, we need to schedule this fairly soon, is when everything fails, what is our recourse? When our kids are struggling, what is our recourse?
Something you have talked about, when you are a child, really thinks he will be comfortable with a foster parent, a child you have raised, have to come and change, there is a trigger point, there is something hidden in behind. And we don't just want to take it that they are doing it for the sake of it. Because I think maybe we are making the home hostile. If a kid has messed, that is not the time a parent, you need to have your tempers up there.
By tempers you mean?
The tempers. Sometimes we overreact. Sometimes we overreact to kids. Take for example, your son has driven with your new Jeep, and then he has been involved in an accident. And then he's calling you mom. And then you are yelling about your Jeep. The child would think, so mom could not even ask how I'm doing, whether I was injured. Are you saying? There are things which can trigger, like we put priority on other things. So that idea, when your child really says he would be better off with a foster parent, that is the time of reflection of the parent. I would guess so, because there is a trigger point.
That's powerful, because that's what we are seeing every day, and then the dynamics have really changed. But hearing it from a parent who has done it is, this is information that we need to push out there, and of course resources. And just even, for fathers who are struggling, especially with I am here and you have to do what I say, because that's what our fathers,
one of the most issues where this indiscipline comes, when both parents are not on the same page. That's very important. The challenge is that the father would want to take some measures, I mean, as a father. Then you find the mother is wants to appear nice to the kids. That shouldn't be the case. When it comes to parents, no matter how differences you can have, in a marriage you can have all the differences.
Yes.
They should not spill over to kids.
Okay. So the I guess what we are saying is, you know what? No taking sides, man. If a child has done wrong, we support each other, and yeah.
We need to look at this. Like when you have every child has two parents. Look at that child to be a cooperation you started together.
Okay.
And one day this cooperation will grow to be bigger. When you will look down the generations which will come out of this one child. That one will be able to make you put aside your differences and nurture this small cooperation, which will be a foundation of your tribe one day. Because like when we are many like this, we are in a bigger institution of someone else. Two parents somewhere. Yeah.
So yeah, I love that because at the end of the day, I think maybe sometimes people take their own self-interests to heart, and they're not really paying attention to what could this child be. I mean, look at Obama. Yeah. I mean, look at, we have like a lot of our successful parents, and here, when we look at what, people have been able to do, we still can relate to that.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, it's been such a long, interesting conversation because somebody asked me yesterday, and it's one of our guests that we've had on the show, asked me about how do we even deal with our teenagers, and at some point the only answer I had was I just talk to mine. He's a teenager. I just talk to them. But you talked about mentors. You talked about the conversations that are really hard to have, and then being on the same page. So my next or the follow up with this is, we still have the single parenting. We still have, absenteeism because of the doubles that you talked about. We still have, parents who are who may disconnect and decide to move back to Kenya for one reason or another. Of course, that creates the single parenting. And then we have parents who've decided to maybe get remarried. And, those are the issues that we are facing, where, some kids would be like, you know what, maybe I don't want to be in this. So, and real practical issues, examples.
Yeah, and there is no one single bullet for parenting. But there is no one single, because every child is different. Even if the childs are identical twins, they will take totally different routes in life. And one of the things a parent needs to do, you don't need to appear to be favoring one child over another. That sometimes causes resentment. Treat that child individually. Don't try to compare, because they are unique. Everybody has his or her own fingerprints. Everybody has his own destiny. The only thing you can do, just love your kids. If you love your kids, you will not hear them saying they are going to the foster parent because they will meet you. And sometimes, we overcharge, we will curse when somebody is out. And I always want to tell people that they should use the prodigal son example in the Bible. There's something which people miss in parenting. You can learn from that parent. When the son wanted to go and do things, the parent gave everything. He went, but he never followed him. He went, messed up, came back alone. After eating the pig's food, he realized that let me go back and be a servant of my dad.
There you go.
He came back. So sometimes kids will want, they will want to test the word out there, and they will do funny things. And the only thing parents we are, we try to talk to our parents as if we were that Thai holy when we grew up. You had, even if we didn't have Facebook, we had our own Facebook of that time. There are things you mess yourself. There are things you did, which you can easily relate. And if you projected to today's world, maybe you could have been worse than your kids.
And you paint like a perfect picture of where we are so quick to cast a stone. I mean, I'm still reading my Bible. I wouldn't be as articulate as you on the prodigal son, but sometimes I say, even for people who messed up, think about Jesus. Like when he said, "Here, if you have never done anything wrong, be the first one to
cast a stone."
A stone.
Was anybody there?
Everybody walked away, but yeah. So, I say this is important because next time, we need to facilitate and have some young men actually talk to you about how you, about how you've never had a fight with them. Yeah.
We had our, when we grew up, maybe we did even worse thing, but it's only that they are not recorded anywhere.
They're not, I know, right? Because here, at the end of the day, there's a book record. I really just want to appreciate the fact that you've been able to share so much, because the struggles are real. And just before we close off, we are really mourning with the families that have lost their loved ones. I mean, there was a shooting right next to my kids' school like 2 days ago, and we're still reeling from that. There's so much violence right now, and sometimes we have to even talk to our kids.
Yeah,
But
about it.
Yeah, violence is not a solution.
That's true.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Dr. Omandhi.
Thank you. Thank you for